Okay, in this video, this is going to be one of many videos to go through the steps of installing and setting up Windows 10. The first thing we need to do is get something to install Windows from, or the installation media. Now, I tend to go with the disk media because disks are more reliably recognized by computers. If you want to go with the thumb drive, it works just as well, but tends to only work on newer computers. So if you've got a top-of-the-line, brand new computer, thumb drive will work great, but in this video, we're going to do the disk option. So first thing we need to do is download an ISO file that will then be used. So we're going to Google download Windows 10. The ISO file is then burned to a disk. So I want to make sure that I'm going to Microsoft.com. I'm going to go here. And from this page, the top has got more information on it. What we want is create Windows 10 installation media. We're going to download tool now. It's going to download a 17 megabyte file. Now that will go into the downloads folder, or on most web browsers, you'll see it right here. We can go ahead and open that up. Okay, so it's going to think a little bit, make sure you've got space and things of that nature, and then it will present us with some options. Okay, first we're going to have to accept the legal terms, obviously read all of that. Now, we're getting presented with options. We do not want to upgrade this PC. We want to create installation media. Here we have the flash drive, DVD, ISO. That part really doesn't matter. Then we're going to say next. Now, in this, you can say recommended for this PC. Now, I'm going to be installing this on a different PC, not this one. So we're going to uncheck this. Now, I do want Windows 10. You can see here we do have other editions. Pretty much the Windows 10 edition is one I want. We want to stick with English. Now, often people that speak Spanish think that they want to install Spanish. Even if this is for someone that speaks Spanish, I still recommend installing it in English because it changes all of the dialog boxes to Spanish. And if you have to get technical support from someone that doesn't know Spanish, they won't be able to help you. So install programs would choose the language of Spanish for them, but install the operating system as English. Now, you get an option here to say both. I don't recommend this because then it won't fit on one disk. So if you're going to use more than 4 gigabytes of memory, the computer won't be able to access that if you don't do 64 bits. Now, even if you do only have 4 gigabytes memory, you still want to do 64-bit because it won't be able to use the whole 4 gigabytes of memory. So this comes down to a question of how much memory I have in the computer. Most people these days are doing more than 4 gigabytes of memory, so we're going to do the 64-bit. We're going to say next, and again here you can say a USB flash drive, which I could put in here. It's telling me the size. Now if you wanted to download both or do other things, you could do the USB flash drive. The reason why I recommend avoiding that for a particular application is because some machines will not install from the flash drive. Generally they will from the disk drive. Now, if your machine doesn't have a disk drive, obviously you're going to want to use the flash drive, but make sure it is a newer machine or that can cause you some other issues. So we're going to go say to ISO file. We're going to say next. Next is going to ask us, where do I want to save this? I generally save it to my desktop. Now, I've already downloaded it here, but here we're going to, I'm going to go ahead and pretend like I'm downloading it so that you can see all of the steps. I'm going to say save. It's going to think about it, and then it's going to be downloading this, and depending on the speed of your internet connection, even with a super fast connection, this sometimes can be very, very time consuming. So we're going to skip ahead to the end. Okay, and now we've finished the download, and it's going to build the ISO file, or basically verify it to make sure it was downloaded correctly without errors before we burn it to a disk. Okay, so now basically it's finished downloading. It's telling us where the file is, and it's giving us the option here to open that, or we can just say finish. Now, if we click an open DVD burner, it's going to go ahead and open this right here. But if for some reason you didn't do that, let's go through the manual steps just so you know how. So we're finished with this. Oh, it's going to go ahead and clear up its temp files, which is nice of it. Can close this down, which we could have closed that at any time. We're closing it now. So I actually have the same file here downloaded twice. If we go to properties of this one and the properties of this one, we basically have the same file just created at different dates and times. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on this, and I can go, I could mount it if I wanted to copy the files off, or we can burn this to a disk image, which is what that opened for us. So we got this. This is my Blu-ray disc or DVD burner, and I'm going to put a blank DVD into the drive. Actually, I'm not going to insert it yet. I'm going to go ahead and say burn. It's going to say there's no disk. Insert the disk. Give it a second to think about that. And then I'm going to click burn. And this is pretty straightforward. It's going to check the disk and go through burning. Now, you might want to say verify disk after burning if you've had problems in the past, but all of my equipment is pretty reliable, so I'm not going to worry about verifying. Now, also note that I am using Windows 10 here. Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8 all have the disk burner software built into Windows. If you're using a different version of Windows or have to use some other computer, you'll need to install an ISO burning software, because the file is an ISO file type, and we just need to burn that to a disk. And then from that disk, we'll be able to put it into the machine with the blank hard drive or a corrupt hard drive to reinstall Windows or install it for the first time. Okay, it's now completing writing the directory and stuff to make the disk readable. And once that's completed, it will eject it from the drive, and we will have Windows 10 installation media. Again, we chose the 64-bit version because we want to support 4 gigabytes and higher amounts of memory. If you had smaller amounts than that, you might want to install the 32-bit version. But really, in this day and age, if you're installing on any system that supports Windows 10, more than likely you're going to want the 64-bit version. So now that's complete, and hope you enjoyed the video.